There's a voice in your head. It analyzes, it comments, it tries to make sense of things, sometimes even encourages you when you feel weak. And yet, in the quiet moments, when all the noise fades, you've probably asked yourself this one haunting question: who is it really? Who is doing all this talking inside? Let me take you back to a story. It's about a man who spent most of his life inside his own mind. Every decision, every doubt, every dream was filtered through the same internal narrator. He believed that this voice was him, guiding him, protecting him, helping him function in the world. But one day, while sitting still in silence, he had a realization so profound it shook him to his core. For the first time, he noticed the voice. Not just what it was saying, but the very fact that it was speaking. And in that noticing, a space opened up between the voice and the one who was listening. It was in that moment he understood something. Deeply simple yet earth-shattering. If I can hear the voice, I must not be the voice. That realization is the threshold of awakening. It is the door you are now standing in front of. Neuroscience has been searching for decades to find the command center inside the human brain, the so-called control room where decisions are made and identity is stored. What they discovered, however, is not a CEO at the center of operations, not a single core self pulling the strings. Instead, they found something else entirely. They found networks of neurons firing, systems operating in harmony, yet no central controller, no singular location where you live. This might seem disorienting at first, even disappointing. But it opens the door to something far more liberating. What if your essence is not confined to a structure? What if your awareness is not a product of the brain, but rather the very space in which the brain's activity is being witnessed? This brings us to one of the most powerful discoveries of both modern science and ancient wisdom. Consciousness does not arise from the mind. It is not created by thought. It is the silent field in which all experiences emerge and dissolve. You are not the content of your thoughts. You are not your memories. You are not your hopes, fears, or plans. You are the one aware of them all. You are awareness itself. Imagine a radio playing in the background. Sometimes it tells stories. Sometimes it plays sad music. Sometimes it makes you laugh. But the radio is not the sky. It is a signal passing through. You are not the radio. You are the sky that holds it all. No matter what is being broadcast, the sky remains untouched. It remains open, still, and infinite. This shift in perception is not just philosophical. It is transformational. When you begin to see that you are the awareness behind all thoughts, you no longer react blindly. You no longer believe everything, the inner voice says. You begin to step into the role of the conscious creator. You begin to live with clarity, not chaos. You begin to act with power, not panic. So now I ask you directly, are you ready to meet the part of yourself that has always been silently watching, patiently waiting for you to return home? Are you ready to go beyond the noise and touch the source? Because the next step is not about adding more information, it is about subtracting illusion. And what you'll find underneath is not empty. It is luminous. It is free. It is you. This is your moment. The door is already open. The voice will keep speaking, but you no longer have to follow it. Instead, you can watch it. And remember, you are the sky, not the signal. You are the awareness, not the thought. So take a breath. Feel the silence beneath the sound and step forward. The journey has already begun. Now it's time to awaken the creator within. Now that you have stepped beyond the surface and begun to witness the awareness behind your thoughts, it's time to meet the one who has been narrating your life from the shadows. The inner storyteller. The voice that seems so familiar, so constant, that most people never realize they are not it. But here's the truth. The one driving your emotions, your judgments, and even your sense of identity is not truly you. It is a constructed voice, a mental program running in the background, and it has been shaping your world for as long as you can remember. This inner storyteller operates through three main modes. The first is what we call the storytelling mode. It takes random events from your day and stitches them into a narrative, often without accuracy. It gives meaning to moments that may not have any connecting dots that were never truly related. It says things like, "She didn't smile at you because she's upset with you," or "Your friend hasn't replied because they are ignoring you." It creates patterns from noise, meaning from chaos, and makes you believe those stories are reality. Then comes the judgment mode. This is the voice of the inner critic. It measures everything you do against impossible standards. It tells you that you're not doing enough, not good enough, not fast enough. And sometimes it praises you too. But whether it's blame or praise, it still keeps you trapped in comparison. It doesn't speak from truth. It speaks from programming. And it's not trying to help you grow. It's trying to keep you in line with what it believes is safe. The third mode is the cheerleader. This one sounds a little nicer. It says you've got this. It says everything happens for a reason. But beneath the positive tone, it's still the same mechanism. It's still the mind trying to manage your experience. Even when it sounds supportive, it's controlling the story. It doesn't liberate you. It simply softens the illusion. All three modes come from the same source: conditioned thinking. They are the echoes of your upbringing, your culture, your fears, and your old wounds. They are not bad. They are not enemies. But they are not you. They are patterns, scripts. And once you begin to see them, really see them, you gain the power to step out of them. You shift from being the character inside the story to the one holding the book. This shift is not just intellectual, it's energetic. You feel it. When you catch yourself believing a story and suddenly recognize it for what it is, you don't just understand it, you wake up from it. That's the spark. That's where change begins. Let's be clear, the storyteller is smart. It doesn't only speak with words, it communicates through images, memories, emotions, even physical sensations. You may feel anxious walking into a room and assume it's intuition, but often it's the storyteller running a story of past rejection, not present danger. That's why awareness is so powerful. When you witness the voice instead of following it, you take your power back. So ask yourself now, what voice do you hear the most? Is it the one judging you, the one making sense of everything, or the one pretending to lift you up while still controlling your path? Whatever it is, recognize this simple truth. If you can hear it, you are not it. If you can see it, you are beyond it. And if you are beyond it, you are free. Now it's your turn. Write down the voice that dominates your mind the most. Is it judgment, storytelling, or cheerleading? Don't judge it. Just see it. That's the first step to freedom. The next part of this journey will show you exactly how to move beyond the voice and reconnect with the part of you that has never been conditioned. Stay present. We're just getting started. You've just taken a powerful step by recognizing the inner voice that's been shaping your life from behind the curtain. But even as you try to observe it, you might still find yourself trapped in loops of thought. Maybe you've wondered, why can't I stop overthinking? Why do the same fears, doubts, and judgments keep playing in my head? If that sounds familiar, pause for a moment. It's not your fault. It's your brain's default setting. And once you understand this, everything starts to make sense. Inside your mind is a network called the Default Mode Network, or DMN for short. It activates when you are not focused on a task, when you're resting, daydreaming, remembering the past, or imagining the future. The DMN lights up. It's like your brain's background noise. This network is deeply connected to your sense of self, your memories, and your stories. In fact, it's the neurological engine behind that inner storyteller you met earlier. Now let's go deeper. The DMN works alongside several other regions. One is the amygdala. Think of it as your internal alarm system. It scans for danger and assigns emotional weight to what you perceive. When the amygdala is overly active, it heightens fear, anxiety, and emotional memory. That's why certain thoughts feel so intense. Then there's the hippocampus. This part stores and retrieves memories, especially the ones tied to your identity. It reinforces the stories you tell yourself by pulling up experiences that match the script. Together, they build a sense of who you are, based on the past, filtered through emotion. Next comes the prefrontal cortex, particularly the dorsolateral region. It handles logic, planning, self-control, and reflection. But when overstimulated, by stress it overanalyzes and loops in patterns of overthinking. It doesn't help you find solutions. It keeps rerunning scenarios like a scratched record. And finally, we have the insula. This part helps you feel what's going on inside your body. It's deeply tied to emotional awareness. When you feel tension, tightness, or gut-level fear, the insula is often involved, translating those signals into perceived truths. So what does all of this mean? It means your brain is not broken. It's doing exactly what it was designed to do: survive, predict, protect. But survival mode isn't designed for deep peace. It's designed for quick reaction. That's why your mind defaults to stories, judgments, and internal commentary. It's trying to keep you safe, even if that safety feels like mental chaos. But here's the shift. Just because your brain defaults to these loops doesn't mean you have to live inside them. The same brain that was conditioned can be reconditioned. You are not locked into this network forever. Awareness is the key. When you become aware of these loops, you create space between the pattern and your presence. And in that space, you find choice. It's like a tape recorder stuck on repeat. But now, you see the machine, you see the tape, and more importantly, you realize you can stop it, eject it, or record a new one. You are not the program. You are the one observing it. So take this moment and let it sink in. The voice in your head, the stories it plays, the emotions it stirs, are all part of a system. That system is flexible. It can evolve. You are not doomed to repeat the past. You are not defined by the loops. You are the awareness that sees them. And now take a deep breath. Not to fix anything, just to witness. Inhale and say to yourself, "I am not this thought." Exhale and feel the space around it. Right now, you are stepping into the seat of the observer. And from that place, everything can begin to shift. You now understand that your brain is wired to repeat certain stories. You've seen the patterns, the circuits, the internal loops. But beyond all of that, there is something deeper, something quieter, something untouched. There is a part of you that never changes. It does not react. It does not fear. It does not cling to the past or chase the future. It simply is. This is not another layer of thought. It is not a feeling. It is not an identity. It is what remains when everything else fades. This is pure awareness. It is the space in which all experience arises, the stage where thoughts come and go, the field where emotions pass like weather, the witness behind every moment. Pure awareness does not think. It watches thought. It does not speak. It hears the voice within. It does not feel happy or sad. It observes emotion without attaching to it. And unlike the brain, which is always changing, adapting, reacting, this presence within you is steady, silent, unmoved. You may have glimpsed it already, in a quiet walk under the stars, in the stillness of early morning, in that brief pause between two breaths. It is always there, waiting for you to notice. Imagine a clear blue sky. Sometimes it holds clouds, sometimes storms, sometimes sunlight. But the sky itself is never damaged by what passes through it. It does not become the rain. It does not resist the lightning. It simply remains open, expansive, unshaken. You are not the clouds of thought. You are the sky, the boundless field of presence that holds it all. For most of your life, you've been trained to identify with the clouds. You've believed that your thoughts were you, that your emotions defined your truth, that your reactions told you who you are. But now you are beginning to see the illusion. You are beginning to remember that you are not the content of consciousness. You are consciousness itself. When you make this shift, everything changes. You no longer drown in the storm. You no longer cling to the sunshine. You allow experience to move through you without losing your center. You move from reaction to observation, from confusion to clarity, from noise to stillness. This is not detachment, it is presence, fully here, fully aware, but no longer entangled. You may ask, how do I reach this awareness? How do I live from this space? The answer is simpler than you think. You don't need to achieve anything. You don't need to fix anything. You don't need to think differently. All you need to do is notice. Right now, in this moment, become aware of the space in which these words are being heard. Not the words, not the voice. The space, the one who is listening. That's it. That's you. You are not a body. You are not a thought. You are not a story. You are the awareness within which the body, the thoughts, and the stories appear. You are the sky, watching the clouds pass, and nothing that ever passes can define you. So now, take a moment and feel it. Close your eyes for just 10 seconds. Do not try to change anything. Do not try to silence the mind. Simply notice. Notice the breath. Notice the sounds. Notice the presence beneath it all. That presence is you. You don't need to hold on to it. You don't need to chase it. It is always here. It has always been here. The more you notice it, the more it expands. The more you rest in it, the more peace you begin to feel. You are not becoming awareness. You are remembering it. And from this place of stillness, your life begins to change in the most unexpected ways. Because when you no longer believe every thought, when you no longer react to every cloud, you become free. Free to choose, free to act from clarity, free to live as the sky. You've now tasted what it feels like to witness rather than react. To rest as the sky, not the storm. But there's something even more profound waiting for you. A deeper layer of freedom that most people overlook their entire lives. It is the present moment, the only place where truth lives, the only space where reality actually exists. Every time you think about the past or worry about the future, you are moving away from your true home. You are stepping out of presence and into illusion. And that illusion has become so normal, so constant, that many forget how to return. Let's make it clear. The past is not real. It is memory. A collection of thoughts appearing now. The future is not real. It is imagination. A series of projections appearing now. Both are mental films playing on the screen of the present. Only one thing is ever truly happening, this moment, right here, right now. Everything you've ever experienced has happened in the now. Every smile, every tear, every moment of clarity or confusion. All of it unfolded in the present. And even when your mind told stories about yesterday or tomorrow, it told them in this exact moment. The present is not a place in time. It is the timeless space in which time appears. It is the foundation, the doorway, the anchor, and it is where pure awareness lives. You cannot access pure awareness through thought. You access it through attention, not by thinking your way into the now, but by relaxing into it, by noticing the breath, the heartbeat, the sound of the wind, the light entering the room. Every sensation is a doorway. Every breath is an invitation. And every time you answer that invitation, you step back into alignment with what is real. Imagine searching everywhere for a key only to realize it's been in your hand the entire time. That's what the present moment is. You keep looking for peace in some future goal or in some past explanation. But the peace has always been here. The presence has always been now. It is not hidden. It is simply ignored. And the reason it gets ignored is because the mind is addicted to movement, to chasing, to solving problems that don't even exist in this moment. The mind believes that peace will come after everything is figured out. But peace is not a destination. It is a decision, a return, a remembrance. So right now, gently turn your awareness toward this very breath. Feel it entering your body. Feel it leaving. Listen to the silence between my words. That silence is alive. That stillness is not emptiness. It is full of presence. You are already here. You've always been here. You've just been looking away. Let this be your practice, not to change anything, not to perfect the moment, but simply to be with it, fully, as it is. The more often you return to the now, the more you remember who you really are. Not a person lost in time, but the awareness in which time moves. Not a story unfolding, but the space in which the story appears. And now, I invite you to make a small commitment, not tomorrow, not later today, right now. Choose one simple action that brings you fully into the present. It could be touching the ground with your bare feet, drinking water with complete attention, watching the sky without needing anything to change. Write it down, say it out loud, let it be your anchor, because every time you return to the present, you return to yourself. Not the self you've been taught to perform, but the one that has always been here, still, aware, alive. Now that you've returned to the present moment and felt the stillness of pure awareness, a new realization begins to dawn. You are not just the sky watching the clouds. You are also the source from which those clouds arise. Awareness is not passive. It is powerful. It is not just witnessing. It is shaping. You are not a victim of reality. You are its architect. You are not stuck in someone else's story. You are writing your own. Every thought you focus on, every emotion you energize, every belief you hold sends a signal into the field of life. And that signal has a ripple, a pattern, a consequence. You are shaping your experience with each breath. This is not fantasy. It is rooted in one of the most fascinating discoveries of modern physics. In the world of quantum mechanics, the observer plays a crucial role. When particles are left unmeasured, they exist in a state of probability. But when observed, they collapse into a specific outcome. The act of observation changes the result. The presence of the observer shifts the behavior of matter. Now imagine what that means for you. If even the act of observing a particle can influence how it behaves, what happens when you observe your own thoughts, your own emotions, your own world with intention? Your awareness is not neutral. It is creative, it is alive, it carries frequency. And the frequency you hold determines the reality you meet. If you walk through life thinking you are powerless, that belief becomes the lens through which all things are filtered. But if you walk knowing that your consciousness is shaping each moment, then you begin to move differently. You begin to choose differently. You begin to create consciously. Let this be clear. You do not need to acquire power. You do not need to earn permission. The creative force is not something you have. It is something you are. You are the canvas and the brush. You are the sculptor and the stone. You are not waiting for reality to happen to you. Reality is happening through you. You are the frequency that brings form into motion. This is the shift. From victimhood to authorship, from reacting to directing, from believing that life is something outside of you to realizing that life responds to the essence within you. And once you see this, you can never unsee it. You begin to hold your attention like a sacred flame. You begin to speak words that match the world you want to live in. You begin to notice which thoughts lift you and which ones limit you. And you choose. You choose as the creator you've always been. So pause now and feel that shift inside. You are not being controlled by circumstances. You are not at the mercy of random outcomes. You are a conscious center of creation. Your thoughts are frequencies. Your emotions are energy. Your focus is direction. And every time you place your awareness on something, you give it life. You nourish it. You call it forward. Ask yourself right now, what are you broadcasting into the field? What story are you energizing? What expectation are you setting? You are not a bystander in this life. You are the signal being sent into the unified field. So take a breath and say it silently. I am a conscious creator. I shape reality with presence. I align with what I choose to experience. Because when you claim this truth, you stop waiting for life to happen. You start living it. You step into the power that was never outside of you. And from that place, the story of your life begins to shift in ways you never imagined. You become the one who remembers, the one who chooses, the one who creates. Now that you have remembered yourself as the conscious creator of your reality, another layer begins to rise. One that has been silently shaping your choices and limiting your expansion. It is fear. Fear is not a weakness. It is not a flaw. It is a messenger, a guardian at the edge of transformation. The very thing you avoid is often the doorway to your deepest truth. The feeling you resist is the signal guiding you back to yourself. Fear and procrastination are not the enemies. They are patterns created by the conditioned mind, a mind that wants control, a mind that values safety over freedom. Every time you hesitate to act, every time you hold back from speaking your truth, every time you delay what your heart already knows, it is not because you are broken. It is because your system has been trained to avoid the unknown. But here is the shift. You are no longer the one being run by the program. You are the one observing it. And with observation comes choice. You can choose to respond differently, not by pushing fear away, not by pretending it does not exist, but by turning toward it, by meeting it, by sitting with it like an old friend you are finally ready to understand. Fear is not darkness. It is the absence of light. And light is awareness. When you bring awareness to fear, it begins to dissolve. Not all at once, but enough to allow movement, enough to allow breath, enough to allow action. Let me offer you a practice. The next time you feel fear rise, pause, gently, bring your attention to your breath. Let it slow down. Let it anchor you. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel the weight of your body. Notice the part of you that is not afraid, the part that is steady, present, aware. Then, from that space, speak to the fear. Say, I see you. I hear you. I am still choosing to move. I am not waiting for you to leave. I am walking with you now. When you stop fighting fear, it softens. When you stop labeling it as the problem, it becomes the teacher. Fear is not here to stop you. It is here to point you toward what matters, toward what is sacred. It stands in front of the things that would change your life, because it knows those things require you to let go of the old self. Remember this. The mind fears what the soul craves. The closer you get to your truth, the louder the fear may become. That is not a sign to retreat. It is a signal to lean in, to breathe deeper, to move slower, and to act anyway. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the willingness to act while fear is still present. And every time you do, the fear loses a little power. The story begins to shift. You become stronger, clearer, more free. So I invite you now to take one small action. Choose something you've been avoiding, something your heart wants, but your mind resists. It can be a simple conversation, a decision, a step forward. Name it. Do it. And as you do, say to yourself, I act in spite of fear. I walk with it. I grow because of it. Because the truth is, fear is not your enemy. It is the fire that forges your strength. It is the shadow that reveals your light. And when you meet it with awareness, it transforms. It no longer holds you back. It pushes you forward into the life you were meant to live. You have now met fear with awareness and learned that it can be your guide rather than your barrier. But what happens next is something even more subtle and powerful. Because once you stop running from fear, you arrive at something deeper. Presence. The full, complete, undivided attention to what is happening right now. Presence is not something you do. It is the state of being that arises when you are no longer divided between thought and experience. And it is in this state that the extraordinary begins to reveal itself in the ordinary. You've been told to search for miracles, to chase peak experiences, to wait for something dramatic. But the truth is, the miracle is not in the event. It is in the awareness you bring to the moment. The magic you are looking for only shows up when you are fully here. Not half thinking, not multitasking, not rushing. Here, now. Every action, no matter how small, becomes sacred when you bring your full presence to it. Washing the dishes, walking across a room, taking a sip of tea. These are not meaningless tasks. They are doorways, opportunities to return to your center. When your attention is unified, the moment becomes alive. The colors sharpen, the sounds deepen. The breath becomes your anchor. And in that awareness, the sacred reveals itself. You do not need a silent retreat to access stillness. You do not need a spiritual title to feel connection. You need only to show up for your life. Right here, with both feet on the ground, with both eyes open, with your heart unclenched. Presence is not a performance, it is permission to be as you are, where you are. In the teachings of mindfulness, even the most basic activities hold deep spiritual power. Walking, standing, sitting, lying down. These are the 4 postures of the body. But when they are filled with presence, they become the 4 gates of awareness. The 4 ways you can reconnect to your original nature. When you walk with awareness, each step becomes a prayer. When you sit with presence, your breath becomes a temple. When you lie down consciously, the body becomes a resting altar. Nothing needs to change. Everything is already enough. Let this be your realization. You are not separate from life. You are not waiting for a moment of arrival. The arrival is now. The portal is now. And the only thing required is that you notice, that you slow down, that you feel, that you remember. Because what you truly seek is not far away. It is woven into the very fabric of your daily life. It is hidden inside the moments you overlook. It speaks not in thunder, but in stillness. Not in answers, but in attention. The deeper you listen, the more it reveals. So here is your invitation. For the next hour, choose one simple action, something you normally do without thinking. It could be brushing your teeth, drinking a glass of water, folding clothes. Whatever it is, do it with 100% presence. Feel every movement. Breathe through every second. Let it be enough. And as you do, notice what changes. Notice how the ordinary begins to shimmer, how your heart softens, how your mind quiets. This is not about doing more. It is about being more present in what you already do. The miracle is not later. It is not somewhere else. It is now. It is you. It is this. You are not separate from the sacred. You carry it in your breath. You walk with it in your body. And every time you return to presence, you return to the magic that has been here all along. You have now experienced what it feels like to live in full presence, to infuse your actions with attention, to find the sacred in the simple. But something even deeper is calling you now. Not from outside, but from within. A quiet whisper rising from your soul. It is not asking you to become someone new. It is asking you to remember who you already are. You do not need to search for your higher self. It has always been here, waiting behind the noise, behind the stories, behind the fear. Your true self is not missing. It is hidden beneath layers of conditioning, expectation, and survival. And now, the path is unfolding, not forward, but inward. This is your journey. The ancient path told in every myth, every legend, every timeless story. The hero's journey. And whether you realize it or not, you are living it. Right now. You were called to awaken. You resisted at first. Then something cracked. You crossed a threshold. You faced your shadows. You met your fears. And now, you stand on the edge of transformation. But there is one final piece. One final act of return. You are not here to awaken for yourself alone. You are here to bring something back. A gift, a truth, a story that only you can tell. That story is not your weakness. It is your power. Your wounds are not shameful. They are the doorway to connection, to compassion, to healing. We live in a world that often hides behind masks. That teaches us to show strength without softness. But real strength is found in vulnerability, in the courage to be seen, in the willingness to share your path, even while you are still walking it. Your humanity is not a flaw. It is the bridge to other hearts. It is the medicine someone else has been waiting for. So ask yourself, what part of your story are you hiding? What experience have you overcome that shaped you? What lesson did you learn in the darkness that could bring light to someone else? You do not have to be perfect to inspire. You only need to be real, honest, present. Because when you speak from the place of truth, people feel it. When you share from the place of presence, people remember. Your journey becomes their mirror. Your breakthrough becomes their map. And in giving your voice, you empower others to find their own. This is what it means to return from the hero's journey. Not just with insight, but with offering. Not just with awakening, but with service. And the world does not need another mask. It needs your soul. It needs your story. It needs the truth only you can bring. So pause now and reflect. What chapter of your life once felt like an ending but was really the beginning? What moment of pain turned into wisdom? What path of struggle revealed your strength? Write it down, not for validation, but for liberation. Because in naming it, you reclaim it, you honor it, you transform it. You are not separate from your higher self. You are not far from your essence. You are walking back home to it, step by step. And with each step, you shed the layers that never belonged to you. You peel back the noise, you release the false roles, and you return to the truth. Your higher self is not a future version of you. It is the one watching right now, the one who has been guiding you through it all. And when you speak from that place, you don't just heal yourself, you become a light for others. So take a breath and write your story. Not the perfect one, the true one. Because someone, somewhere, needs to know they are not alone. And your voice might be the very light they have been waiting to see. You have walked the path of remembering. You have peeled back the layers, faced your fear, reclaimed your presence, and touched the power within you. You have remembered that your voice matters, that your story heals, that your awareness is not just a witness but the foundation of creation itself. But none of this means anything unless it becomes action. This is where the journey moves from insight to embodiment, from realization to destiny, from inner knowing to outer living. The truth is, you do not need more reasons. You do not need to wait for the perfect moment. The moment is already here. The time has always been now. What changes your life is not more thought. It is more action, conscious action, heart-led action. action that reflects the truth you now know. Because without action, the mind returns to its loops. The old stories regain control. The old self begins to speak again. But with action, everything shifts. New frequency, new patterns, new results. So take this in. Your reality begins to reshape the moment you choose differently. Not tomorrow, not someday, but now. One new decision sends a ripple through your entire timeline. One conscious shift in behavior broadcasts a new signal into the field. You are not waiting for life to transform. Life is waiting for you to activate it, and that begins tonight. You have moved from unconscious patterns to conscious presence, from being shaped by fear to walking with courage, from reacting to creating. And now, you declare this next chapter. You claim it with your voice. You embody it with your choices. You live it with your breath. Say this to yourself now, with clarity, with conviction, with presence. I no longer manifest the version of me that no longer aligns with who I truly am. Let it sink in. Let it echo through your system. Because this is the shift. You are no longer the old story. You are the author of the new one. And this is not just poetic. It is practical. Tonight, you begin again. Not as a concept, but as a lived experience. So here are 3 simple actions. 3 anchors for the frequency you are stepping into. First, write down 3 things you will do differently starting tonight. Not perfect things, not grand things, just real things. Things that come from your true self, not your conditioning. Second, create a conscious ritual before sleep. A small practice to end the day in presence. It could be a breath, a reflection, a simple affirmation. Let sleep become a portal to integration. Third, speak your return into being. Leave a message, write a comment. Declare with full intention, I have returned from the darkness with the light inside me. This is how you seal the transformation. Not just by listening, but by living. Not just by hearing the words, but by embodying the truth. You have crossed the threshold. You have remembered the power within. Now you must act from it. Move from it. Create from it. Let it shape your choices. Let it shape your voice. Let it shape your presence. And remember this, the universe responds to you in real time. It does not wait for perfection. It moves with alignment. It dances with decision. The doorway is not far away. It is not in some future moment. It is here. It is open. It is now. So take a deep breath and step through. Not as the old you, but as the creator you were always meant to be. Everything is waiting for you. Not tomorrow, not in another lifetime, but in this very night. This is your beginning. This is your activation. This is the moment you become who you truly are.